Hey, friend, welcome to the Bridge Between Us podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Patrick. I also want to welcome you to a special series that I'm doing right now on the podcast, and this series is titled Still Faithful. It's a podcast series for parents walking hard, unresolved parenting journeys. This is a space for honesty without shame, faith without pressure, and movement without forcing outcomes. Together, we're learning what it looks like to stay spiritually anchored, emotionally steady, and rooted in love, even when parenting hurts and the story isn't finished. Over the last few episodes, we've been doing careful, honest work. We've talked about releasing shame, naming pain, and recognizing God's presence without forcing positivity. Today, we're going to talk about something many parents are quietly wrestling with: what it looks like to stay rooted in faith when trust feels fragile. Because for some of you, trusting God doesn't feel simple right now. It feels tender, cautious, maybe even confusing. And friend, I get it. But I also want you to know those things matter. There are seasons where trust feels confident and steady. And then there are seasons where trust feels more like staying than believing. You may not feel sure of what God is doing. You may not feel confident in prayer. You may even feel disappointed or hesitant. But you're still here. You're still listening. You're still open. You're still engaging, even if quietly. And that tells us something important. Fragile trust is still trust. Sometimes we confuse being rooted with being certain. We think strong faith means having answers, feeling peace, understanding God's plan. But Scripture shows us something else. To be rooted is not to know everything. It's to remain connected. Think about the roots of a tree or the roots of a plant that are growing. Roots grow underground, unseen, slowly, often in resistance. Just because trust feels fragile, it doesn't mean that your faith is shallow. It may be deepening in ways you can't even see. In hard parenting seasons, staying rooted may look like continuing to pray even if the prayers are short, opening up Scripture without needing it to solve anything, choosing restraint when emotions run high, or returning to God again and again, even with the same questions. These are not small acts. They are signs of a faith that endures. I want to offer you permission today. You don't have to trust God with everything at once, but today, can you trust Him with just today? Can you trust Him with the next conversation, with one decision, with one prayer? Faithfulness doesn't require full confidence, only willingness. Here's a simple prayer that you might pray. God, I want to trust you even where trust feels fragile. Help me, Lord. My heart is willing to trust you fully. That prayer is enough. You don't need to force reassurance. You don't need to resolve anything. Just remain connected. If trust feels tender right now, you're not failing. You're rooted. As we talk about staying rooted when trust feels fragile, I want to say this. Some seasons aren't meant to be walked alone. If you're finding it hard to discern next steps or to stay steady in the middle of uncertainty, I do offer coaching for parents walking this road. It's not about fixing your child. It's about supporting you as you stay faithful and grounded. If that feels like something you want to explore, just send me an email at melinda@melindapatrick.org. God has entrusted this journey and your child to you. As you engage with Him, He will equip you for each next step. I'll talk to you next week, friend.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Bridge Between Us podcast with Melinda Patrick. To find out more, go to melindapatrick.org. Once you're there, you can check out the many resources that Melinda has available. Also, you can book Melinda for your next speaking engagement. Just click on the speaking tab at the top of the page for more information. All of this can be found at melindapatrick.org. Thank you for listening in today. Be sure to join us next time for another episode of The Bridge Between Us with Melinda Patrick. In The Daring Rescue, a new book from Melinda Patrick, parents learn how to join Jesus Christ in his pursuit of your LGBTQ identifying child's heart. In 2011, Melinda was faced with her own daughter embracing that lifestyle, so she is all too familiar with the struggle parents can face when confronted by their own children who identify with this compromising community. Through The Daring Rescue, parents will regain hope and will be encouraged to still love well while holding on to God's eternal truth. Even though culture can be shifting and affecting children of Christian parents, this book will equip and embolden moms and dads to be a vessel through which Jesus Christ can minister to their LGBTQ identifying child. The Daring Rescue is a must-read because we are in a war, and the lives of our children and future generations are at stake. The Daring Rescue by Melinda Patrick, available now.